This is another client. His name is Joe Frazier. They have a company called Frazier Pest Control. Now, we started with them about a year ago now, and we started creating content. And a lot of times people say, well, why would you make videos for a pest control company? And the reason is because that's how people find you. They go on, and I think the intent is different. When I go to Instagram or Facebook, my intent is to be entertained. But when I go to YouTube, my intent is to get an answer. So, hey, welcome to another exciting episode of the Twisted, Bent, and Exhausted Entrepreneurial Podcast. My name is Jeff Harrison, along with my very supportive co-host.
You think so?
Maybe she's hard of hearing. Let me try that again.
Wait, try it again.
Just announce her. Her name is Leslie Spohr.
Oh, there you go. Yay.
Hey, jeez.
Yay. So the people on Spotify can't tell, but the people on YouTube will be able to tell. I've got a gap in my teeth this morning.
Oh, no, Spotify will do that because Spotify is also...
It's what? You cut out on me. Where are you? Hello? You're frozen, Jeff. I hate it when
so if we happen to whistle, and that looks like it came from your end because we lost no transmission here. We just... Anyway. Hey, welcome to another show.
Yay.
Leslie, we are now well into, when this rolls out, into February.
Are we really?
Yeah. And there's a lot of exciting things going on. I think this is second season. Like this is like episode 4 or 3. We're in the second season. So we're like 50 plus episodes in. So first of all, congratulations for hanging in there with me for as long as you have.
Well, we do this together. It's not a thank you to me. It's a thank you to us.
Yeah.
You keep trying to push this all on me, and it's really both of us. I'm
the tech side. I'm just the tech side. I hit the start button and then just ask a question, shut up, and let her talk. But if you want to hear me talk, I have another podcast called Local Voice. Yeah, you can go to Local Voice and you can hear me and me only if you really want to hear some of those things in depth from a male perspective.
Wants to hear that. No,
but anyway,
anyway.
Hey, what are we going to talk about today, Leslie?
I thought we'd talk about marketing. I don't know if we talked about that for a while, but boy, it's really hit home for me because I've been doing, if this is the first time you're joining us on this podcast, under Concierge Business Solutions, I do these free 5-day challenges to help companies identify opportunities in their business to help them grow and get them unstuck and moving forward. And lately, there's been a lot of marketing issues. Really surprised by that. I thought people that were in business for a short length of time. And what I mean by that is if you started around COVID or thereabouts, you're able to avail yourselves of everything changed after that, in-person marketing and networking and electronic business cards and all these things changed. And I thought people would be availing themselves of that, but it turns out they are not.
Oh, really?
Oh my goodness. I'm so surprised, because these are really smart people that started their own business. You've been in business for 6 years. You've passed the failure point, right? Because most businesses fail in 2 years and a bigger percentage fail in 5 years. So if you're past that point, you've done something right. Right.
Yeah.
And it's shocking to me, the people that are not networking or not marketing. And you're going to say to me, well, you're guilty of that too, because I was for a while until you kicked me in the butt and got me out there moving around. And so I'm just really surprised. So I thought we could talk about that today and what I'm seeing and the stuff about marketing, because I know you're really good at it too. And your AI does a lot of that stuff for people today. So I think that's a good combination of things.
Yeah, I've got up here, what marketing really looks like, and then behind the scenes of a 5-day challenge. And I think, if we can peel that back a little bit, because what Leslie does, if you're new to the show, or she takes on one-on-one clients for free, and over a course of 5 days helps that particular client or that particular person transform some parts of their business, because it's a one-on-one. So it's not a one-to-many and like, okay, try to spread this around, see if it works for you. No. She is asking pointed questions specifically about that person's business and really what happens. So I look at that, Leslie, as like this isn't a guesstimation of like, oh, well, a lot of people say this. No, no, you're hearing this consistently because you have your thumb on the pulse of the business owners. It's not just, oh, I heard at lunch some people talking about this. No, you've
No.
taken it deep. So I really want to think about this as you're doing this is take us behind the scenes and share with us like what happens and not so much the structure of okay, I ask these questions, but what you uncover that really what we're talking about, what marketing looks like. Because last night, now this was, I feel like Marty McFly because I'm back to the future.
Marty McFly.
Yeah, I have a dear friend who is a phenomenal real estate agent for 30 years. Now watch this. For 30 years, he holds a record of selling one home a week
Wow.
for 30 years. And he's a dear friend. We've bought and sold homes with him and land and whatnot. And he has a program that's coming out. And we were talking about it. I couldn't get out of my car. He called me while we were in the car, and I was in the garage setting because I'm just. He's talking about future marketing and now marketing, and I think sometimes we, all of us, get confused of like, hey, what is future marketing and what is now marketing? And I think behind the scenes of a 5-day challenge can really uncover some of that. So keep that in mind. And I'm gonna kind of, I'll probably keep poking at it a little bit because it started making me think about a little bit. So, all right. So that's a handoff to you now. You ready?
Well, and I want to know why I don't know this realtor, but okay. So that's a whole other topic. So yeah, in the 5-day challenge, I always do a review of all our marketing materials, and there's a huge, like, let's take them one at a time. So there's a huge disparity quite often between what their website, because almost everybody has a website now. That's kind of given. It used to be only if you had money did you have a website, but you can get a website built for pretty way affordable, depending on what you want to look like and how much functionality it has. So I look at the websites and there's a disparity between what's showing on their website and what they're telling me they want to do. For example, they're not, say they want to offer a specific product or service, but it isn't reflected anywhere on their website.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And you would think, well, that's a no-brainer, right? Why wouldn't you have that on there? But it's not there. And part of the reason for that is either they built the site in the very beginning and their business has evolved and they haven't updated. That could be true. But more often what I find is that they're thinking about how they want to evolve, but they haven't taken any steps to implement that. So in the meantime, everything is laying there doing nothing for them. I mean, if people come to your site and they look at it, and they don't see what they're looking for, despite what you say your business does, if they don't see what you're looking for, then they aren't going to stay around. They're not going to call you. They're not going to investigate further. They're just going to say, yeah, it's not here and move on.
That's right.
So that's a big piece right there, the way the website looks and acts.
Can I jump into that for a second?
Not at all.
I just want to share a stat that I saw yesterday that I thought was pretty amazing. And this is done now. Let's see. I'm just trying to see how many. It was marketing and consumer behavior insights, and it said, "How did you make your last online purchase?" So this is marketing, how the mind of a consumer would work. 48% still decided on buying your product or service because of your website.
Right.
And so if you attract me, as an example, let's say, for instance, you say, well, I do sell, pollen from bees, and I go to your website and it has nothing on there about that. First of all, your trustworthiness probably is at risk. And then also, hey, you can't close the deal.
Right. Well, why would you? They're not going to call you.
Yeah. but here's a cool thing. Instagram and TikTok, so many people are putting so much weight in both of those, and it is 5% for Instagram. So my point is, your website has 9 times the influence of Instagram, and 20 or 15 times that of TikTok. So if you're saying, God, I'm having trouble getting on social media, all sorts of stuff, I'm not saying don't do it. I'm saying, wait a minute, let's make sure your house, your
It's
website
in
is in
order.
order before you
Yeah.
go. So I just want to toss it out there because I saw that and I thought, oh, this is going to be perfect for our conversation today. Just because, it's like once it's an opinion and the other is it's real.
Right.
So,
And the other thing I'm seeing, because you made me aware of this, is the American Disabilities Act, or ADA as we call it for short, has a requirement that all websites have an ADA compliance button on it that says if you have a disability, you can manipulate that website for your convenience, right? That's how the
mhm,
button works. So you
yep,
can change the font, you can change the size, you can change the colors, you can reduce any kind of strobe effects that might be triggering or affecting you. There's all kinds of things you can do with this. It's basically a menu that allows you to change the way you view the website. Well, to not have that on your website is a violation of the regulations for ADA compliance. And because most businesses, big businesses already comply, there's a whole task force out there looking for small companies that don't comply with this. And it's not a horrendous cost to put it on, but a lot of people don't even know they need to do it.
that's right.
So there are people literally being cited for not having ADA, the little ADA bot on their site. Now, did we add it to my third one? I don't know. I know two of my sites have it. I got to get on my third one, but um, it's just a real big deal. And you would think, well, I'm so small. How are they going to find me? But you would be shocked because searching and different industry types and, businesses that make under 100,000 a year or businesses that make 200,000 or less, it's easy to find you relatively if you're looking for that sort of thing. So that's another area of exposure for these small businesses that they don't have that. And then in this day and age, I've noticed that very few small business owners have chatbots on their
Mm,
sites. And
yeah.
you're the one, and you can talk more about this, but you're the one that convinced me that that's a great tool to have because A, people expect to see it these days, and B, because it's working for you 24 hours a day. Right? If somebody comes to your site in the middle of the night and they have a question, they can ask that chat bot and it will answer. The basic. Oh, there's your like 10 years old picture of you that people can use. Are you going to show them an actual chat bot and ADA thing on here? There's the chat bot. So for those of you who are listening, I don't know if you can watch. Did you say you can watch on Spotify too?
Yep. It's video. Yep. Yep.
Oh, I didn't realize that. Well,
Yeah.
if you're just listening, because I know some people have told me they've been listening to us, he's got a pop up on his site showing that has a dialogue. It's a dialogue box between the bot, the AI bot, and the consumer, where they can ask questions and the bot will respond. And I believe, don't you go through and look at all the frequently asked questions and stuff on the site so you can kind of pre-populate the answers in here?
Correct. Like down below, it has this list of questions to prompt. If you're not sure what to prompt, like I just put in there, do you do websites? And then based on the information on here, we have that, and there's a call to action. You might be looking for answers outside digital marketing. I'm more than happy to answer questions about digital marketing. So, um, because I don't on my website, and this kind of ties back into the first conversation we had about bee pollen about if your website, if I tell people out in the world I do all this stuff and then they go to a website to validate it or to follow up and it's not there, there's this disconnect.
Right.
Well, I don't on my website, I don't hang a shingle out saying I do websites. Now, do I do websites? Absolutely, but only for current clients. I don't go out seeking website clients. So that's why you don't see it on there. And even my chatbot, which is educated on all the stuff on my website, says, this doesn't fit. So, um, you know, it's important to know that and when to say no, because for me, doing websites, it's not my greatest joy.
Well,
And
and beyond that, but in another context for that, is optimizing it for AEO or answer engine optimization. You can take an existing website, and I've seen you do that, and then optimize it so that the um, owner of the site or the business becomes far more visible because, as we all know, and we've talked at many times about this, AI search engine optimization is critical.
Mhm.
What did it start about a month, 2 months ago, where everything changed? And
No, 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 no. It was back
episode
in
44
February last year
was that February?
started to roll out. Yeah.
Oh my gosh,
That's when they're,
time flies.
but that's when it was one of those things where it's like, if you think about the sky and it's perfectly clear, SEO. But then there were some clouds rolling in, but they weren't like big thunderous clouds. They were just little puff of clouds. I started seeing those, and that represents, hey, SEO is now also GEO or AEO, answer engine optimization. I started seeing that in February of last year. So it's been almost a year now. Now I look out and it's like, okay, the clouds are now dominating the sky. So you got to be ready for that.
Well, and the problem with that is, as you have explained many times, is that if you aren't AI optimized on your website, in your social media, everywhere, then you won't be found. Eventually, you'll be invisible.
Yep,
Your SEO might help you for a while, but eventually you're going to be invisible. And I even see that the latest upgrade on my Apple phone, which do you use Apple, don't you?
I do.
Make sure you're on 26.2. There's a big security thing out there. You got to upgrade to 26.2, which
Uh-oh.
is which is important. But the problem with it is that everything changed on it, and so it's very annoying to try to do things on there right now. But they even have incorporated more AI into their upgrades too, that you almost forced to use their Apple's version, which I'm not even sure what it's called, but you're forced to use their version of AI stuff. So you
Hmm.
really need to be aware of the networking and marketing. The website is a marketing piece, right? It's not a paper piece, but it's still a marketing piece of your business. And it's, as you said, it's what, 90% of the face of your business. Is that right? Was that the number?
No, it's 48%. In
Oh,
other words,
sorry.
people when they go to your website or when they are going to make a decision, still 48% depend on a brand's website to make a decision. Can I share a little something here?
Sure, of course.
Okay.
This is both of our
Um, all right.
podcast.
While we're doing this, let me just pull this up real quick because I just want you mentioned something about, hey, a website, making sure that um, it scores properly. Well,
Right.
here is a little tool that I leverage, and it is educated on AI content. In other words, what is it? What's the ranking factors for it to be seen by artificial intelligence?
Mhm.
And so it will rate you, and you can get a free analysis. So let me just put this in there, and I'm gonna put in Swing Point Media's website. I'm not going to embarrass anybody in there, so let me just put mine in there. And the goal is the higher it is, the better off you are going to be seen. And meaning, hey, I'm going to go to ChatGPT and say, hey, I'm looking for a digital marketing company in Rancho Mirage, as an example. What's the chance of me showing up there? So I'll analyze that, and it'll give me a score, and it's 64. Okay. And now the cool part about this is, and I love this because it now gives me a rating of what's going on here. Okay. What's going on? 47 out of 50, 5 out of 25, 7 out of 15 for content and discovery. The thing I love about this and now is I can now get a report on what these things are, and I can go back in and improve those, like my structure score. When you're talking about, again, not to be in teach you how to do this, but these are the four components that are critical for a website to be seen by AI. And you can go to this site. It's aicoachellavalley.com.
Is that
And then
yours? Is that
no,
yours?
nope, it's an independent site. It's not mine. And you can then put in your website and it will give you a score. Here's a cool part, Leslie. And if you're watching this or listening to this, this is where it is critical that your business get ready for this, like starting today, because your competitors are not.
Right. That's the exciting part, is that you can be on the forefront of this technology. And to me, that's something absolutely to share with the people in my 5-day challenge, right? Help
Yeah.
them to get in front of this. So yeah, I'm sorry if I
Let me
interrupted.
no, that's let me I'll just share one specific example of how this worked because this happened this week and it really surprised me, but I'm excited about it. It didn't surprise me that it worked. It's how it was delivered. I have a client who's a new client. We're in month 2, and she had a website that scored very poorly, but she'd had it for a long time. It did very poorly in this particular example. I'm not going to pull it because my goal is not to embarrass anybody, but just to stress the point of what happens. So what we did is we said, listen, she's had this website for a long time, so it has a lot of Google juice. In other words, SEO is good, but it had almost zero. It scored on a 1 to 100. It scored 15. So what I did is I built a side-by site, if you will, that complements it, that scored an 89 for artificial intelligence. Well, she's had that for 2 months. This week in a meeting, she stood up and said, hey, I have to thank Jeff and SwingPoint Media, because I was working with a client and I asked him how they found me. And she said, did you find it through Google? And he said, no, I found you through ChatGPT. And I'm like, yes, that's it. More and more of us are going to use that because we like it. It gives us one answer. It gives us the answer. It does all the work. So this is the opportunity. It didn't list 42 agents in there because Google will do that. It listed her. And that's why he called her. So I was excited about that. So that's how you can stand out right now. Now, keep in mind, this is a window of opportunity. It's going to close pretty rapidly because there's people like myself and Leslie are saying, hey, you need to get your website optimized, and we optimize it. But I think you've got about maybe 18 to 24 months to get your, I was going to say shit in order, but get your stuff in order.
You can
but I won't say that. I won't say that because it's a family show. So anyway,
hey, question. What's so you got 64 on SwingPoint Media and you do this. So what's a good number for, if I'm doing this for somebody in a challenge, what would be, obviously 15 would be horrible, but what would be a decent number for today?
Anything above 50 is good.
Okay.
Anything above 50. So, and if you don't mind, I'll share what yours were when we first started.
Oh, go ahead. I know
when we first started with Leslie, hers was a 15.
Yeah.
And here's the biggest reason. It wasn't because she had a bad website. She has a beautiful website, very, very good. But what happened is, and this is true with a lot of templated sites like Wix, name some of those, Square, that you can do websites, is they actually have coding that blocks AI search engines from crawling the sites. In other words, it's almost like you're like Harry Potter and you've put on a cloaking device and you can walk around. Nobody even knows you're there. Well, so what we do is we go in and change that code so that now people can find you, and that immediately brings your score up. Sometimes triple. So from a 15 to a 45. And we're seeing that as pretty common.
Right. What's mine now?
Yours is an 88.
Yeah. See, now that's much better because we'll get found, and that's what you want.
Absolutely.
So I'm going to start doing that as part of my 5-day challenge. I'll go to that site. I thought that was on your website, but I'll go to the AICoachellaValley.com and check it out for the people I'm helping and see where they're at. At least it'll give them an idea of, it gives them quantitative data that says, hey, she's accurate and we need to fix this, because, if I'm trying to help people find opportunities to improve their business. And quite often issues like they're the bottleneck, or they're not doing any marketing or networking. You'd be surprised too how many people don't do any networking, shockingly so. Or people that don't have real business cards. They all do just electronic. Now, I know that electronic is probably the way of the future. But for me, and I told one of my clients this morning, I said, I'm sure Jeff could help me with this. If I get a screenshot, if I do a QR code on somebody who's got an electronic business card, there's nothing to prompt me to come back to them and follow up. They go into my address book, yes, but there's nothing after the networking event that says, hey, you scanned all these cards and you need to take action on these. I'm sure that would be an easy enough thing to come up with. But right now, I don't have that. So I still rely on paper cards, and I still put them in my newsletter database. And I still, although I have somebody else who does that, but I still do all that so I can build my distribution. Quite a number of the people I work with aren't doing any of that.
Wow.
No newsletter, no social media. I mean, I reviewed one recently that had a LinkedIn account, had an Instagram account, but there hadn't been a post on there. There's no post on LinkedIn, and there
Wow.
hadn't been a post on Instagram in I don't know how long. And too many of the what was there were not business related.
Mm.
Right. So if you're trying to use as a marketing tool, if you're using social media, because that's another thing I look at, is you have to have relevant information. And one of the ways to build your following is to go like other similar pages to what you have. So you almost need to make on your schedule once a week, or at least an hour once a week or more, to go in and review the posts and like similar stuff and comment on things so that you get engaged, so that people will want to follow you, and that you will start popping up more. Because if you just sit there with nothing, nothing's going to happen.
That's so
Right.
true. That's so true. Can I share another example of?
Why do you ask me? Of course you can.
Well, I don't want to interrupt your flow if you've got something
No,
else
I've
going.
lost my
Okay.
train of thought already. It's
All
okay.
right, good. Perfect. I waited for the train. This is another client. His name is Joe Frazier. I have a company called Frazier Pest Control. Now, we started with them about a year ago now, and we started creating content. And a lot of times people say, well, why would you make videos for a pest control company? And the reason is because that's how people find you. They go on, and I think the intent is different. When I go to Instagram or Facebook, my intent is to be entertained. But when I go to or YouTube, my intent is to get an answer. So if you look at these numbers, okay, 141 views, and remember, it's a local company, 458, 15,737 views. Rats in the rafters. Here's why they love the desert. Almost 16,000 views, 3,000 views, 1,900. These are all potential leads, because I guarantee you, if somebody is clicking on something that says rats in the rafters and you live in the desert, they got a problem and they want to get fixed. Well, guess what?
Right.
This video is like you've just hired this specific salesperson to go to work all day long. And they're like those sign spinners. They're constantly signing except they work 24/7. 7 days a week. They never take any time off. They never change a story, and they're always there to help. That's why video content is so important. And you can see his numbers. Like, it's not a freak. It's 3,500, 900, 500, 2,000, 800, 2,000, or 1,900. And it just goes on and on and on. And so it's important to think about that as well as like, hey, where are you putting content? What are you doing? And I'm thinking in most service-based businesses, validation comes from letting me see you do what I need your help in. Like you have this beautiful video called Follow the Wall video, right? To me, that is a powerful piece. Tell us about that.
Oh, well, the follow the wall video is for executive errands, and it's a process we do when we do home checks. We literally follow the wall inside the house and outside, and we open every door, and we're touching under every sink, feeling all the pipes and running the water and wiping things out and just working our way around the house so that we make sure that we do not overlook anything. Anytime you have a exact process, the quality of that service improves. So because in the beginning people were doing home checks not willy-nilly, but because we still had a criteria for doing a home check. But if you 1 week start this way and 1 week start that way and stuff, you don't get the spatial awareness of the property and are less able to recognize when something's out of place. Mm-hmm. So by following the wall every time, they get very familiar with that property and the nooks and the crannies and the behind the doors and the, all the way the plumbing works and all the way the appliances work, because they're always touching them in the same way. So the process of working through the property almost becomes invisible in their mind and frees up their mind to be able to focus, to identify other anomalies. I know that's a bunch of woo-woo stuff, but it's a psychological impact on their brains, you know? And so, I haven't explained it to them in that way. They just follow the wall because they know that's what they're supposed to do. But, you know, when you do the same thing repetitiously over and over every week, we go on the same properties, do the same things, you have to make sure that their brain is properly engaged. And follow the wall helps that. And it's just a kind of a overview of that process, the follow the wall video and how we do it so that when clients say, well, what do you do in a home check? They can watch that follow the wall video and it explains very clearly without the psychology of why we do that. In fact, I should do a newsletter about the psychology of follow the wall because I just realized that's a pretty good thing. Uh, but, but you know, you're right. Consistency matters more than perfection because, you know, I just read an article about our brains and how we are losing short-term memory and reducing our ability to um, retain information because there's so much quick videos out there. We're looking at
Mm,
Instagram, we're looking at TikTok, we're seeing, you know, 30-second videos and the repetition in our brain is reducing our ability to hold on to more in-depth, longer information. And I mean, my husband, for one, he won't read a book because not that he can't read, and he's very intelligent, but he doesn't have the patience for it. He
mm.
has lost his patience. He loves YouTube. He can be on there and entertained by video after video after video for hours, take him the same amount of time to read a book, but he doesn't want to do that, you know. In fact, he's got a t-shirt I got him that says, "Yes, I can," because he's a handyman, right? Says, "Yes, I can help you. I watched a YouTube video."
Yeah.
So, you know, you're right about people going to YouTube more, and video is very valuable as a marketing tool. And hardly anybody that I've counseled use it, not to
Mm.
an extent. And what I hear the most is, yes, I understand I need it and I want it. I don't want to do it. You know, they don't want to do it. So in that case, I always recommend the content accelerator that you have because that is very affordable for what you're getting, and it creates. Is it one video a week? Is that what it is, or I don't
Yep,
really
yep,
know what you get.
one video a week. Yep.
Right. So you get one video, one blog post, right? And then how many regular posts do you get?
Yeah, you'll get okay, so you get a blog a week, and then you get a video a week that supports that 5 days of social media content, Monday through Friday,
Mhm.
and on 4 different channels. So you're now on 20 different posts a week, and then if you have a database that you send emails to, it'll also generate an email for you. So it creates your whole week of content.
So that what you just did right there
Uh-huh.
needs to be a cutout blurb from this podcast and needs to be posted all over social media and on your website
Okay,
because it's a very simple, easy to understand description of the content accelerator, right? You don't have to go into any detail about how you make it work. For the person that I recommended to you yesterday, that much would sell her
okay.
because she needs she has no social media, so she needs social media, and that would be the way to get it. It would also help with her. She wants to do a newsletter. Well, if you're generating a blog automatically, it's easy to convert that to a newsletter and just send it out for distribution. Just copy and paste it and send it,
That's
right?
it.
So she doesn't have to think about it. She can just do it. And that's kind of the way our society is going. People want more experiences in their life and they want things to be easier. We all know that we want content. We all know that we need a better website. We all know that we need to be AEO optimized. Well, we don't all know it, but you and I know it. And we
Yep.
talk about it all the time. So if people are following us on this podcast, then they know it. Okay. And so um, anything that we can do to make that process easier for somebody, you know, we're right on the forefront of this stuff. You especially, because some of the things you do just blow my mind. So You said you had an aha moment this morning. Are you going to share that? Is it
I don't
appropriate?
think I'm gonna, I guess because this is not a live broadcast, and I will have already implemented it by then. Yeah, I'll talk about it now. I want to show you something just real quickly here before we go on. Um, and as an example of how we take someone's blog post and turn it into an email. And I just want to show you real quick. Let me just, it's asking for a code for security, which I like that. I'm glad it's all working.
Is it going to hit
And
me?
what's that?
Is it coming to me?
No, 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 no.
Okay.
This is one of those. I'm not going to hassle you on this one. So let me just pull up an example of a client's that we do, and I'll just show this real quick. And I'm glad we're doing this because it is more of a, as we said, we're behind the scenes. We're kind of showing you how, as they say, we're pulling back the kimono and you're actually seeing what's going on behind the scenes here. So as an example, each week, this particular client, his name is Art Alvarez. He has a company called Mortgage Works. And each week, we do is similar to this. We create a live show every week on his topic in his environment. And then what we do is we write a little email. And then within that, it links to that particular video. Well, you tackle the same thing by saying, hey, here's a little overview, if you will, an enticement to your database about your blog, your recent blog, and put a link to it and put a couple of images on there and call it a day every week, right? Well, the cool part about this is the email that the Content Accelerator makes already does this for you. And it's just a matter of saying, hey, what email service do you use? But it's not something that's difficult. It's almost like giving it's almost like saying, raise your hand if you like spaghetti, and only the people who raise their hand spaghetti are going to open it up. That's what you're looking for. You're looking for somebody to take action on that. These particular clients, because of this and keeping them, as we say, consistency matters more than perfection, that these open rates are in the 40 and 50% range.
Right.
So if even a small group, let's say you only say, well, I don't have a very big email list. If you have 100, if every week you could send an email and 100 read your blog post, is that effective? Like, how long would it take you, Leslie, to go out and say, okay, I'm going to meet with 50 people individually, not as a group? Do you have enough time in your week to meet 50 people on an individual basis and talk about your blog post?
No.
Yeah, but this is what you can do. So sometimes we think, oh, you know what? I compare myself because Leslie has, 5,000 names in their database and I have only 100. So I'm going to wait until then. No, do it now.
No, do it now. Then you'll get the 5,000.
100%. So I just want to share that because I think that's something too that people think, oh, like it says, I have to be perfect before I do something. I want you to be consistent. We want you to be consistent.
Well, and you do mine backwards from that because I write the newsletters and then you take them and turn them into videos, and then you publish my newsletters for me, so I don't even have to do that. And you format them and you get the pictures and you do all that stuff, which is ideal for me. And then you've got the video there too, which is a bonus, which can be then you guys take and post that on social media, right? That video.
Of course. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you're doing all of it for me, so I can just rely on it being done, which is great.
Yeah.
And then the next thing that I always review, if we're done with that part for a minute.
Well, let me ask you something.
Sure.
Because I think feels like this is a beautiful segue into future versus now marketing. Because what Leslie's talking about, what we've been talking about, I want you to understand something. All of this is like planting seeds. When you're writing blogs, you're sending emails, you're well, maybe not so much emails, but when you're doing things on social media, that's future marketing. Like every time I write a blog, I don't immediately get new clients. I wish I did, but that's not reality.
Right.
Like what you do, this beautiful mixture now of you have an opportunity to say, okay, my marketing out there that Jeff is doing and Swing Point Media is doing is my future marketing. But you're out there doing the now things. Does that make sense?
Right. No, so I'm trying to do both.
So tell us what your now things are.
in-person networking and marketing, I just signed up to do another expo in March, a big one for real estate agents. So I'm doing a lot of in-person, one-on-one type marketing, and then also groups, brokers offices for real estate agents. I belong to a couple of real estate professional organizations. I belong to a women's professional organization. I'm looking at joining some hospitality stuff. So I'm out there, like I've been, it's so weird because for a while I had nothing on my calendar, and now I'm like at 4 meetings a day, every single day. And I kind of hate when I have to leave the office and because it interrupts everything. But this is the way forward. So the now marketing is all the in-person stuff, the daily new or the weekly newsletters that I write for a month, 2 for one company and 2 for the other. So I do 4 newsletters a month. And the future marketing is all of the stuff you do for me with the content accelerator, with ads and social media posts. And do you still write me a blog even though I do a newsletter, or do you not? I don't know.
We take your newsletter,
Oh, and
which
turn it
is
into a
not a
blog.
blog, and turn it
Right.
into a blog, and that's where
Okay.
we add your video up there as well. So
Okay.
yeah,
I didn't know.
yeah, yeah.
So, so we're kind of collaborating on that then. I'm helping you. You don't have to create the content for me. And I know too that you've enhanced that content accelerator so that it now can be more specific for a given company. It doesn't have to be any one kind of company. Does it not ask questions now in the beginning of the intake part of that so that it can tailor the results and the postings to the company that's going to be using it?
Yeah, it's always had a degree of customization. Now it has what I'm calling a thinking layer. We've just created, so it now will look at a client and their client's customers, the psychographics, all that stuff, and determine, through challenges and fears and all this kind of stuff your clients experience, your future customers experience, and now create content for that, and it will localize it for that company. It will brand it, make sure it's brand centric,
Right.
and from start to finish. So it won't all of a sudden you have a beautiful video, or let's say a video or an article, but it's talking about someplace that you don't market to. For example, we're in the Coachella Valley. All of a sudden, it's not saying, if you live in Riverside, call Leslie. No,
Right. Right. Right.
it won't do
Yeah.
that. So it's very, 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 very specific. So yeah.
So that's awesome. And for those of you who are listening and that you are starting to get a little panicky saying, oh my gosh, I need to revise the way my social media is, and I need to add AI, and I need to do these things. It's easier and more cost effective to have Swing Point Media do them. And I'm not meaning to do an advertising thing right now, but in all transparency, this is invaluable to a company, especially right now where we are in the world with all this AI stuff coming through faster than you can blink.
Yeah.
And I asked one of my clients, my 5-day challenge clients, what do you value your hourly rate at?
Mm.
And it's double the rate she charges to her clients. Okay, so her time obviously is worth more, as it should be, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I said, how long is it going to take you to develop 5 posts a week, a blog post a week, an email, and a video? The panic that went over her face, because that's a lot of hours. That's a
Yeah,
lot of time. And
yep.
so if you start to do the math and say, well, if you're going to spend what would be fair in the old days? What would be fair for somebody who doesn't know how to do it? What would that take them to do?
At least 20 hours a week.
At least. So there's $2,000 a week
Mm.
to achieve. So that's $8,000 a month to achieve the same thing that you can do for a fraction of that. And I don't want to quote prices, but for a fraction of what that costs,
Yep.
and to get the results and to know with confidence that it's being handled. That's priceless, right? So I wanted to talk really quickly too about one other piece of the marketing stuff that I review for people, and I always ask to see their brochures. What marketing
Oh.
collateral do you use? And one of the ones sent me a kind of it was way too long. It was like a book almost of things, and it showed how billing works and how invoicing works and how all this stuff works, and how receipts are managed. And I'm like, oh my God, this needs to go in the trash. I mean, I said, well, here's the thing. She's pigeonholing her business
Mm.
by exposing all of her processes. So she can't ever change the way she does business, because her clients have now been exposed to how she's doing business and expect her to do that forever.
Mhm.
So she's really limiting herself on what she's able, and she's reducing her flexibility for being able to grow and evolve and take on new automation and do a bunch of things that will make her more efficient, because she's already confessed, this is how I'm doing business. And they don't care, and they don't need to know that. All they really need is to know what the price point is and whether or not they see value in that. If they
Yeah.
see value in it, they're going to buy. It doesn't matter. Right. So, um, it, and every 5-day challenge I do is different. As you said, it's one-on-one. So everyone is different, and everyone has different things. Some people spend an inordinate amount of non-billable time, and I can make that go away easy because I have all the automation that helps them with that. Some of them spend no time on marketing and networking. They haven't talked to somebody in person for years, since they started their business.
Mm.
They're getting work through all word of mouth, which there is value in word of mouth, right? Because your reputation and your brand precede you, but it can't be the only thing you have. Not if you
Well,
want to grow.
there's no guarantee there, is there? I mean, it's like, if,
No.
as an example, if you go to, let's just have like, you go to one networking event every week,
Mm-hmm.
you're going to be planting seeds. They will grow,
Right.
right? So if you just
Right.
keep doing that, now let's say it takes 2 months before you get the first one out there, but once it starts coming, it continues to come. So you just keep doing that. And
Right.
that's why the consistency thing. And so I think this, and we all get caught up in it, is like, hey, I'll have this surge and I'll do all this content. And if it doesn't happen right away, I'm going to say, well, okay, that doesn't work. I'm going to go to another idea.
Yeah, you can't do that.
You can't do that. You got to be consistent.
Well, and
So,
that's part of the short-term memory mentality, right? We expect instant results because we're used to seeing short videos that promise instant results, right? You want to
yeah.
lose 50 pounds? Here's a shot. You want to remodel your house? You've got an issue with hard water? Buy this shower head. All the answers are short, and it reminds me of the Brady Bunch. I used to love the Brady Bunch when I was a kid because my family dynamic was so dysfunctional. I really admired that family. But when you think about it, they were solving major crises in 20 minutes, right? And so we get the impression that all issues can be worked out in 20 minutes or less. And now it's in 30 seconds or less, because technology has evolved, and the way we learn has evolved, and the way we market has evolved. And so when I review, for example, marketing collateral, and I say, show me your brochures, and you don't have one, and there's people that are going to say, this is 2026. I don't need a paper brochure. I disagree. I have my brochure is both electronic and hard copy, because when I go to a networking event, I do an expo, I speak to a group, I want to be able to give them brochures as takeaways so that they have something to look at to remind me what we talked about. Because one of the things about networking and marketing is that you can get all the heads in the room nodding up and down, and the minute you walk out of the room, they forget who you are.
Mm.
It takes that consistency you're talking about. It takes repetitiveness. It takes building relationships with people. It takes putting in the time, paying your dues, so people will remember you, and so that you build the recognition. So you're top of mind, right? That's what we want to be, top of mind. Same with your products. You want them to be top of mind. When somebody says, how do I get content created easily, affordably, and consistently? it should be Swing Point Media as far as I'm concerned, because you're on the front of the AI. There's so many. I mean, I get, you know me, I get all sideways. There are so many digital marketing companies out there. Lots of them. We've met lots of them, you and I, together at events, but not hardly any of them are utilizing AI to the level that you are. Right.
Correct.
So, and that's not an ego statement. That's just literally the truth. Right. That's literally the truth. So, if you want to be on the forefront of AEO or answer engine optimization, and you want to get out there quickly and painlessly, then utilizing you or somebody like you is really necessary. Nobody else has the content accelerator, so that's a one-shot deal there. Nobody else has that. That's your own proprietary thing. And if you haven't trademarked it, I would definitely recommend that. So,
Well, I pulled up on screen. First of all, thank you for all the kudos and the plugs. But I when people go to do things, sometimes they'll treat it as if it's a buffet line. Well, I'll hire somebody to do my SEO. I'll hire somebody to do my social media. I'll hire somebody to do my videos. I'll hire somebody to do my blog posts. Very expensive. So what I did is I created a simple chart of, hey, what is the typical cost of all these things against what the content accelerator does? And if you did your marketing properly and you covered all these things, you're going to spend a minimum of $3,800 to up to about $10,000 a month. The content accelerator as of this time is just $899 a month.
right.
And it does all this stuff for you. So it's
Right.
like, as Lily says, yes, you can do it yourself and you can invest the 20 hours at your rate. But
Right.
I guarantee you, if you want an expert to do it versus somebody says, well, I just made these videos, nobody watches them. Do you want to be like and get, 3,000 to 15,000 views? Well, then hire an expert. If you want somebody to take care of your home like an expert, hire Leslie. If you need software to automate your business, hire Leslie. Don't try to do it on your own because it's very, very expensive. So I just wanted to toss that out there. I thought that was very good. But I want to ask you a question. It's on the screen. Is the 5-day challenge a now or a future marketing effort? In other words, when you do something in the future, you're planting it. It's like saying, hey, I'm starting a garden and I'm raising something. I'm growing lettuce. It's not like I put a seed in the ground. Tomorrow lettuce is there. I have to do some nurturing. Is the 5-day challenge a now or future marketing effort?
It's both. And I'll tell you why it's both. It's a now because quite often when I do this for somebody, they end up either getting the software if they have if they need to automate, or they sign up for something else or additional consulting or whatever. So that, even though they're not obligated, I don't go into the 5-day challenge trying to sell them something. I'm really trying to help them. But based on whatever their challenges are, I generally have a solution for it. But it's also a future marketing effort because they tell their friends about it, other people they know in the industry. I've had phone calls from people that I have no idea who they are because they know somebody that I've worked with, or they've seen one of their testimonial videos. And so it's both a now and a future marketing effort. Because I've been in the lifestyle management industry for 20 years, I have created a lot of solutions to common problems in this industry. And so, because the goal is to help people. I mean, if you help people, your lettuce comes in on its own, right? If you help, you said lettuce, and I thought of money because that's the that's the word for money is lettuce. But if you help people, the money comes. And I don't personally do it for the money per se. I mean, yes, I'm in business to earn a living, and I'd be stupid if I didn't. The goal of any business is to make money. But for me, the joy and the excitement comes from helping people reach their own potential and for them to be successful. And also, ultimately, if you want to look at a future thing, to grow the industry. The more people I help have a better foundation, have a stronger service offering, have a stronger company as a whole, the better the industry is all the way around. Because it's a growth industry.
Well, this was a long answer to a
Sorry.
question that said, because I've heard it, it's a now action.
Yeah.
Because most of the time, after you're done with the 5 days, there's a buying decision made on something that you offer. And I just want to point out a key reason why that is the case. There's a video that I made. It's not me. It's a study on. It's called the 7-4-11 rule,
Hmm.
and it basically says, hey, for someone to trust you enough to do business with you, they need to spend about 7 hours with you, and they need to see you on about 11 different times on 4 different platforms. Shocking that I select 4 platforms when I
Hmm.
use the Content Accelerator. Well, I want you to go back in this as an example. Let's use your husband example. He's watching videos that are 30 to let's say 2 minutes long.
Right.
Do the math. How long would they have, or how many videos would he have to consume of just mine, not everybody's, to get to that 7-hour mark? A lot, right?
To 2,800.
A lot.
If I
So
did my math right.
yeah, so here's something that is really cool is you spend what, about an hour a day with each one of these people for 5 days?
Hmm.
So now you have 5 hours one-on-one with them interacting. So the trust factor goes not to the moon, it goes to Mars and beyond. So
Right.
now they can confidently not only purchase from you, but send you new customers because they know, like, and trust you because of the content you've done. It's like us doing this. We're 55 minutes in and everybody says, oh, make a 30-second video, make a 30-second video. It would take us forever to get to know, for you to get to know us at 30-second clips.
Right.
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 So I'm a big fan of long term. And I just want to share a couple of stats. It says in 2025, average YouTube watch time varies, with users spending roughly 48 to 58 minutes daily on the platform, often in sessions of 19 to 40 minutes. And it says creators producing tutorials, vlogs, or reaction videos must optimize their content duration to maximize reach. In 2025, a YouTube video should last between 7 and 15 minutes.
That's interesting.
Yeah, so if you're making a video and says, oh, I just want to do 3-minute videos, I want to do 90-second videos, I want to do shorts, good on you, but I want you to divide that into the 7 hours that the trust has to be created for somebody to say, here's my credit card. As a friend of mine, Molly Mahoney, says, to throw my credit card at your face and say, take it. It's going to take a long time. Whereas, Leslie, you have this 5-day challenge that is amazing, that you get to spend 5 days with these people, 5 hours. Do you do any hard selling at the end?
No, I just share with them what I have available.
Yeah.
And then they want it. Yeah.
They're probably, I hope she tells me something she sells, because what she's giving me for free is phenomenal. If what she's selling is even half that good, I'm so far down the road, right?
It's funny you say that, because I had one of them tell me, I had given her so much information. She was like, I have to get something from you. I can't not. I feel guilty if I don't, which was not the intent, but
the old law of reciprocity, you're right.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. I was sitting here thinking while you were talking about that, not that I wasn't paying attention.
You were taking notes on my stuff then, huh?
Yeah, I was. I got, me, I am your coach too. So,
Yeah.
but sometimes I feel a little bit reticent about talking about products that we have in this blog post, because I don't want people to perceive it as a sales thing only. But then on the other hand, the stuff that you and I have created are solutions to common problems business owners have. And the whole point of our podcast, Twisted, Bent, and Exhausted, because all of us small business owners are twisted, bent, or exhausted, or all of them, is to be able to give them solutions so their businesses can grow.
Mm-hmm.
So I am no longer going to feel guilty about that, and I'll preface it that way if I need to. But the point of everything you and I do, and that's one of the reasons we get along so well, is because we generally want to help people. Are we going to make money along the way? Gosh, I hope so. But that's not the point. The point is to be able to help these business owners, right? So. That
You
was
know,
just our
a dear friend of mine told me he's been a friend now for 25 plus years. His name is Marshall Silver. He's a nationally known. He speaks around the world, and he said, "Let me ask you something." He said, "If you have a solution that can help somebody, you are obligated to tell them that. You wouldn't say, you know, if you saw somebody
right,
struggling to open up a combination lock and you have the combination in your pocket and you're just watching them struggle. No, you would give them that missing number, right?
right,
You're
right,
obligated to do that.
right.
Otherwise, it's like, oh, I'm hiding my secrets for somebody else. No, no. Think about this is helping somebody. This is why we
Yeah,
do what we do. There's a lot of other things we could be doing besides this podcast, but we feel like we can share some things and insights that say, oh gosh, that one thing today I took away that is going to make a difference to my business. That like I'm not going to do my own social media.
right,
Or if I do something, I'm going to do a 5-day challenge with Leslie and find out if she can dial me in. You're obligated. Don't feel
right,
like you should hold back. And so, Leslie,
right.
I'm glad you said that because it's okay to talk about solutions. But if we got on here every day and we look like an infomercial, different situation.
Yeah, I don't want to look like I don't want to be perceived as that because that is not the intent. The intent is truly to offer solutions to common problems all business owners face. And even though I focus on the lifestyle management industry right now, I am not limited to that. I had somebody ask me that question yesterday. If other types of business owners could they benefit from the information and my knowledge? Yes, because business is business. It works one way. And if you that doesn't mean there's not flexibility and unique situations for a given product or service, but most of the time there's a happy path through a business that everybody needs to follow. And so that's really what we try to focus on. So we're talking about industry benchmarks, common key performance indicators, structure of your business automation. How do we make a business better? And it's exciting that as we age, and this lifetime has been remarkable because of the technological advancements that we've been able to experience. And both of us have been on the cutting edge of those. When computers first came into commercial application, really came in, I think we got our first one in 1980 something, 85 or something like that. Um, they came with no reporting tools. They came with no shop floor control. They came with limited inventory management. There was no reporting tools at all. And so I was really blessed and lucky to be, my brain just works that way. So I could look at the data we were getting and say, okay, I need a shortage tool. And I wrote the logic for it and somebody programmed it. And so now we had a tool for report shortages, or I want to track the assembly process. So I need a shop floor control application. And so we got that built. So because that we've been able to, or I've been able to be there before automation or before computers, and then again, grown up with it and learned from it, puts me in a uniquely qualified position to help people with business. Likewise, you're that way with first digital marketing and now AI digital marketing. And so you make it your mission to be in front of everything new. It's like I'm constantly amazed at the things that you're able to accomplish because you think so far outside the box that there is no box. I mean, it's like literally you're just thinking way out here. So that's our goal in life. And the purpose of this podcast is to offer solutions, offer consulting advice, offer share your pain and help you understand that we have been where you are and we want to help you.
Absolutely. Well, I just want to put on the screen one more time an opportunity for you to dial in, and because she doesn't do a lot of them, what, 1 or 2 a week you do?
Yeah.
Just
Right now
the
I'm doing 2 a week.
5-day freedom challenge, and there's no cost. Just go to this link that you see on the screen, and I'll let Leslie read that in case you're just listening and not watching.
Yeah.
And go ahead, Leslie.
So it's conciergebusinesssolutions.com. And by the way, there's 3 S's in a row, business and solutions all runs together. /the-5-day-freedom-challenge. So they're not underscores, they're hyphens. The 5-day freedom challenge with a hyphen between each word, and that takes you to a page about the 5-day challenge and a link to schedule it. Now, sometimes when we schedule it, by the way, I'm already booked on that day because it's impossible to manage updating that schedule every 5 minutes. So just book it, and then I will contact you and we'll work out something that works with your schedule and mine so that we can do the 5-day challenge together. In fact, I'm finishing one tomorrow and starting another one tomorrow. So really excited about that.
I love that. Well, Leslie, I just want to thank you again for another fun episode of the Twisted, Bent, Exhausted Entrepreneur Podcast. I think we covered a lot of good things. And, something again we did today is we really just, as I said earlier, we pulled the kimono back and we looked at things like on Leslie's website.
What things do we look at?
Yeah,
okay,
we looked at, sorry. Try to keep your mind out of the gutter, folks, and especially Leslie. So anyway, you got to see behind the scenes and actually some things that, hey, are what we doing for our clients making a difference? Absolutely. And we shared that with proven data on YouTube, and also shared some reality, not drinking the, you need to do a bunch of 30-second real video Kool-Aid. I'm sorry, that is not the answer. It is something, as an example, like what here, I'll leave you with this last thing. By making long form content like we're doing here, we're now a minute or an hour and 5 minutes in. Now we can take that, and our editors now will strip that out and they'll make a bunch of short videos. But the idea is to draw your attention, that short time of attention, to say, oh, this is something I want to learn more of, and then bring you to the longer form, whether it's the video or it's a blog post. That's the key. Most people, Leslie, are just doing the one piece. They're doing the short form and saying, nobody's calling me, nobody's happening. Well, there's no follow-up, right? It's like giving somebody a menu, but it's empty. There's nothing on it. Right. So anyway, thank you so much for joining us again. My name is Jeff Harrison. I'm a company called Swing Point Media. We are a digital marketing company with a tremendous amount of AI influence, and we make content for our clients' ideal customers to help them get more customers. Leslie?
Concierge Business Solutions, which is a software consulting, a product based thing, forms, documents, webinars, all that kind of stuff. And then the 5-day solution, of course, is free, one-on-one, to help you identify opportunities or eliminate bottlenecks that will allow you to move your business forward faster. That's the goal.
Love it. Hey, if you just one little favor, because the algorithms are still the algorithms. We have changed a little bit the algorithms on interest. If you click on things that show interest, that helps them show more of that. But one thing that still helps is if you will please click on the like and share button. I really appreciate that. Please go to either Spotify or YouTube and give us a like and a share. We'd really appreciate it. And also give us a comment. Hey, did you like this? Did you think we were all wet? We want you to tell us in the comments. This is not like going to a teacher at college who only talks theory.
Right. This is real stuff.
we got battle scars, right? Yeah. And that's from doing what we do every day with clients, with our own businesses. It makes sense. So I'm gonna let Leslie go because it's almost her nappy nap time.
It is.
And hey, we'll see you next week on the Twisted, Bent, and Exhausted Entrepreneur Podcast. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.